We are going to talk about white people today. So there's this Christian young married couple called MattAndAbby, and I started to see their content around like the panorama time, and I didn't really look too deeply into their content because it just wasn't for me. I didn't really relate to them like that. They used to do stupid dancing TikToks. Matt had his shirt off all the time. Like, I don't want to see your nipples. I just passed on it. I guess since I didn't really like physically like their videos like that, they just got off my feed. Thank God. But apparently they're back on my feed because Matt is being rude, or he's like, I don't know. They just saying that Matt is just very immature. There's 3 clips I want to talk about today. And when I look at these clips, I see it, but I also see like why Matt is acting that way. So we're going to talk about that today. And I kind of don't want to talk about this, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna get attacked because I see it, but I don't see it. Like, I don't know. We're gonna get into it. So, the first thing I've seen is Matt and Abby talking about how Abby combined his birthday and Father's Day together last year because it ended up on the same exact day. Right? And I didn't see any issue with the conversation they had, but a lot of people are seeing an issue with it. I'm gonna insert the first clip I seen where it seemed very problematic.
You did combine the two of them. It's okay though. I mean, you were pregnant, you were uncomfortable, you were close.
We just gotten back from our baby moon that day.
So it kind of
we flew in from Mexico that day.
Well, we kind of
we kind of celebrated it on the baby moon.
We kind of skipped it, kind of, because we did. I
got you a cake from DQ.
I guess we had just gotten home.
And had our family over and grilled.
I think I grilled. Well, I grilled, but I know a lot of dads grill on their birthday. Yeah. So it's whatever. But yeah, we had Father's Day.
And I grew your child.
You did grow my child.
All day, every day.
But like Father's Day and my birthday were the same exact day.
Yeah,
and it kind of was a bummer because it was like, those are 2 days
I failed. I'm going to be honest with you, I failed.
And now I'm going to insert the whole context of what they're saying, because it's a little bit different from the first clip that I just seen.
We've decided as a family that we are not celebrating Father's Day this year.
It is so sad. I'm so disappointed.
Not celebrating it on Father's Day. But
in September.
Wait, what date is Father's Day this year?
Father's Day, it's always in June, and it's like always around.
Last year was June 18th, which is Matt's birthday. So he had Father's Day and his birthday on the same day. And
so sad.
I will say I am disappointed in myself, but I did kind of combine the holidays.
You did combine the two of them. It's okay though. I mean, you were pregnant, you were uncomfortable, you were close.
We just gotten back from our baby moon that day.
So it kind of
we flew in from Mexico that day.
Well, we kind
we kind of celebrated it on the baby moon.
We kind of skipped it, kind of, because we did. I
got you a cake from DQ.
I guess we had just gotten home.
And had our family over and grilled.
I think I grilled. Well, I grilled, but I know a lot of dads grill on their birthday. Yeah. So it's whatever. But yeah, we had Father's Day.
And I grew your child.
You did grow my child.
All day, every day.
But like Father's Day and my birthday were the same exact day.
Yeah,
and it kind of was a bummer because it was like those are 2 days
I failed. I'm gonna be honest with you, I failed you. I'm so sorry.
But you know what? It's all right. Like, there's a lot going on. So, but this year, Father's Day is on the 16th of June.
Which is still only 2 days before your birthday. So we talked about it, and we think it's best if Matt celebrates Father's Day in September.
Yeah, so we're boycotting...
September 18th.
We're boycotting Father's Day for the month of June and celebrating it 3 months after my birthday.
Yeah, we're going to make a big hoopla about it.
Now, the second clip, Abby starts the conversation and says, I am disappointed in myself for combining the holidays. She initiated the conversation like that. So that is the topic of the conversation. I, Abby, am disappointed for combining the holidays. I don't feel good about myself because I have combined the holidays. While in the first clip, it seems as if Matt is just saying, yeah, you combine the holidays and I'm disappointed. No, Abby already initially said, hey, I'm disappointed in myself because I combined the holidays. She said that off rip. So a lot of people are getting confused And I see where the confusion lies is because the clip was cut off. It seems as if Matt initiated the conversation about his birthday and Father's Day being combined, which on some sucker shit, like, okay, but listen, everybody celebrates differently. I understand. But the main topic here is that Abby initiated the conversation saying, I am disappointed in myself for combining the holidays. And then Matt followed up with, it's all right, there was a lot going on. For me, that is comforting. He already said it was all right, there was a lot going on, I understand. But since the clip was shortened, it seems as if Matt was like, yeah, fuck out of here. Out here, bitch, give me a proper holiday. That's what it seemed like he was saying. But white people words. Yeah. So that was the first clip I wanted to talk about because it was just totally out of context, and I wanted to show you guys the real context of that conversation. And do with that information what you will, but for me personally, it seems as if since it was taken out of context, Matt sounded kind of shitty. But I started to realize Matt is a little bit weird. Like, something's going on with him. I don't know what it is. He kind of reminds me of like a piglet, like just scary all the time, like just like, I don't know, like just like a piglet and a tiger mixed together, like just like bouncing off of walls and scared at the same time. I don't know. That's the only way I can describe him. And also, just to put it out there, they also remind me of Corey and Topanga, which is why I started to watch their videos during the panorama, but I stopped because I didn't relate to them. But anyways, moving on. The second video that I seen that everybody's talking about is that Matt didn't want to talk to Abby. Matt didn't want to talk to Abby for 2 days after she gave birth. And the video context is our birth fighting postpartum depression and blah, 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 blah. So it's in context of that, right? And Matt goes, I felt like we cheated birth.
He was out so fast. They told me, they were like, you're going to feel a little pressure. And then all of a sudden, screaming like a banshee, here is August Jacob.
It felt like we cheated birth.
And I'm here to tell y'all, my second child was a C-section birth. And I get where he is coming from with this. But since he's a man, it seems as if like he's taking out the fact that his wife is still going to go through postpartum depression and have those hormones. Like, it's not that they cheated birth. It's that compared to can I say on here? I don't know. Compared to a natural birth, you get the horrible contractions. Like, those are bad. Those are bad. I never ever felt like something like that before. Those are horrible. And to see your wife go through that as opposed to getting a C-section, first of all, those are two separate things. You can have contractions before getting a C-section, but for me personally, and for Abby, she even said it, she didn't have many contractions when she was going for her second child and had to get a C-section, and I didn't have many contractions either. Like, I was just chilling for real. The only thing I would say is that I was sweating a lot. Like, I was sweating. So having a natural birth and a C-section are two different things, and it kind of does feel like you cheated on something. And a lot of people say that when they have a C-section, there's like pain involved in the C-section. For me personally, I didn't feel any pain. The only pain I felt is TMI, but when I had to go to the bathroom, because they won't let you leave the hospital unless you do either pee or, the other thing, number 2. But yeah, that was the only pain I felt. But walking around was fine. I was a little bit stiff. And it hurt a little bit, like it felt like cramps almost. It felt like cramps while they make you walk, because if you stay still, I honestly don't know the science behind that, but they make you walk. They make you walk after a C-section, I think like a day later. and they make you go to the bathroom and make sure you can do number 1 and number 2 before you leave the hospital. So I never personally felt the C-section pain. It was painful getting up for like the first day in the hospital, but after that, I was fine. So I get where people are coming from when they say he's not taking into account like the C-section pain, the scarring, the healing process, and the postpartum. But on the other hand, I get where Matt is coming from, because literally when you have a C-section, it's like anesthesia, cut open, baby out, boom, done. And when you have a natural birth, you could spend hours in labor pains just to like have to push out a baby. Like, that is much more difficult. And I'm a woman. I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, does he have the right to say that? I don't know. Because for him, it was like 1, 2, 3, baby out. For a woman, it's like, damn, you got to cut me open. I got to go under anesthesia. And it's scary going under anesthesia, because anesthesia could be like, if they fuck it up, you're done. Like, anyways, with this clip, I get where Matt is coming from, but also there's no context. There's no context as to what exactly you mean that she cheated birth. You know? There's no context to it. And that's when I started to realize something's weird, because a lot of the things he says, he'll say it and it'll be truthful and it'll be what he's feeling. But on the other hand, it's like, Matt, what do you mean by that? And they never really get down to exactly what do you mean by cheated. Like, it could be many things. Like, she didn't just skip over postpartum depression. She didn't just skip over healing. Like, it wasn't a miracle fucking birth. Like, that's a serious thing. So what do you mean by cheated? And for me, I understand what he means. Like, 1, 2, 3, baby out, cheated. I didn't even have to push, bruh. That made me feel good. Like, I didn't have to push. I just had to sit back, get drugged up, boom, baby out. But dealing with the postpartum depression was work. It was work. Postpartum depression, if y'all don't know, men in here, can last up to 2.5 years. Like, it takes years to get over hormones, postpartum depression. So if y'all gonna have a child with somebody, just know she might be crazy for 2.5 years after. just putting that out there. I'm sorry. I learned that with my first child. Like, some lady was like, oh yeah, postpartum depression usually goes away like 2.5 years. And I was like, wait, what? Because we was talking about like how I was feeling and the hormones, and like I wasn't feeling like myself and I couldn't help it. And she was like, yeah, that might be postpartum depression and it might not go away for 2.5 years. I was like, what? What? I did not know that. Like, there's so many things your OB/GYN and your doctors don't tell you. They just like, yeah, you'll be fine. Bitch, no, I was not fine. But anyways, the way he says things is so out of context, and he doesn't give more detail into what he means that could be taken out of context. And I was like, something is wrong here. So I started to do more digging. I realized that he was going for a diagnosis for ADHD. Now, this is not an excuse. I don't want to put a diagnosis ahead of what people might feel when you say things. Like, but it's like, damn. People with ADHD, they're not neurotypical. They're neurodivergent. So those are two different things. Those are two different mindsets. And I don't know about Abby, but Matt is just a whole other mindset type of thing. And everybody in the comments is just getting at him. And I'm seeing these signs of like his ADHD kicking in. I'm just like, oh, that's what that is. And I think sometimes Abby gets it and sometimes Abby doesn't get it. But I've realized those signs because I do have people in my life that have ADHD that are neurodivergent. And I understand, but at the same time, it kind of sucks because Matt is a grown ass man. Like, you see this man, he got 2 kids, a wife, and he's still kind of acting like a child, but it's because he was diagnosed so late that it's kind of screwed. He has to learn from scratch what he's doing wrong and how to explain himself. And even that, it's hard for other people to get because it's 2 different mindsets. So we got to look at what ADHD is, and like, I don't want to diagnose him. I don't want to. Well, he's already diagnosed. He officially got his diagnosis back, and yes, he does have ADHD.
In other news, I got officially diagnosed with ADHD. Let's just give it up.
But I want to list some things that he does that people don't notice and have a problem with it, and don't really understand where he might be coming from. Not to a defense to him, because some of the things he does and says is shitty, but the way he thinks is very innocent-like, and I want people to understand that. I don't feel like this man is like being mean on purpose or acting the way he does on purpose. I really think it's just like Matt being Matt. I don't like Matt. I don't like Abby, but to his defense, no excuses, but to his defense, he is neurodivergent. Like, it's clear signs. I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it. I may be neurodivergent too. I have not got any diagnosis, but there's some things my friends point out, and it's like, that is weird. So he interrupts a lot. Like, Abby would be saying something and a third would come into his head and he'll say it, and he would like try to stop himself from like cutting her off, but he can't really help it, and he tries. Distractions. There was one conversation in another video where they was talking about like going to couples therapy and how their therapist's name is Karen, and how they was having an argument and they should just like bring it up to Karen, and he goes, "Ooh, that should be our safe word, Karen. Like, anytime we have an argument and we want to bring it up to and save it for couples therapy, we should say Karen." Completely like going around the conversation, and they can never go back onto topic, and that's why there's not much context to what he's saying, because he would just skip to another topic. And I get it because a lot of things remind me of other things that yeah. He also suffers from forgetfulness. So there was this one clip where he is supposed to be taking care of all the bills, right? And they moved into their new house, and he thought he took care of the water bill. Come to find out, they haven't paid the water bill for 7 months. That is a prime example of forgetfulness. Mindlessly agreeing to something that you don't remember later, which I haven't seen any clips of him doing this exactly, but that also goes into being forgetful. And then lastly, which is a very important one that he does, is hurtful words. Unintentionally saying things that might be hurtful to the other person. And I think he does that a lot without being self-aware that he does it. So with Matt and Abby, there'll be like serious topics, and that is what their podcast is all about. The video they made is called "Asking My Husband Questions Girls Are Afraid to Ask," and this is one of the prime examples of unintentionally hurting his partner just because he was asked like a direct question. And one of the questions was, does it feel different down there after birth?
Serious question. Does it feel different down there after birth?
Oh.
And I'm not talking about after a C-section.
Yeah, actually. Yeah. I feel like it goes back, but it doesn't go back to exactly how it was
we
before.
talked about this the other day, and I was kind of surprised to hear you say that, because you never told me until I asked you.
Because I always heard, it goes back to normal, but it doesn't go back to exactly the way it was before. if that makes sense.
So, maybe I shouldn't go into too much detail.
We can say whatever.
You still like it after?
I still like it, of course.
You like it as much?
Yeah, I would say so.
That doesn't sound very...
I think I like it pretty good.
Oh my gosh.
One of the symptoms with ADHD is that you can't pick up on like social cues that much. So when you're asked a question, you're very direct with it without trying to be hurtful. Like, you have to tell the truth in a way. Like, you have to tell the truth in a way, but you don't know your way around telling the truth. Like, it could be very direct. It could be very, very spicy in a way. In a way. I have forgotten. I skipped completely over the not talking to Abby for 2 days, which is very important. So he didn't talk to Abby for 2 days after his child was born because he felt some type of way. He thought his life was going to be over. And on one hand, I get Matt. There's little to no conversation behind how fathers feel after their wives or their baby mamas or mothers give birth. And I get that, because me and my husband had a conversation about that maybe a couple months after I gave birth, about how we were feeling. And because it's a very 1, 2, 3 life-changing thing. Even though I grew the child for 9 months, when I got here, I was like, oh, I don't even know if I know how to be a mom. Like I didn't have any younger siblings to practice on. So I didn't feel comfortable. He didn't feel comfortable. So it was a conversation to be had. And the thing that got me in this video is that he said straight up to Abby, "Can I be honest with you?" And thought it was a good time to be honest with Abby in front of a camera, talking about this for the first time
on you, and they take your vitals, and just to know that that's just something to expect. And they're checking on baby, and it's good. We were very well taken care of.
Can I be honest with you for a second?
What?
You know how I was like really quiet the first day after the birth?
Yeah.
I think like, look, I don't get like emotional like you, but I think that was like my version of baby blues in a way.
Yeah.
Which I feel like I still don't quite understand what the term baby blues means, but I think
You'll never understand, honey.
I won't. And I won't understand from your perspective. But I think I was having this like realization moment of, okay, like my life just changed big time. And for a little bit, I was like, wow, like all my career goals have to go to the wayside. And I just kind of felt, I was kind of frustrated a little bit.
I could tell.
And I just kind of shut down and didn't say anything. Like I was just like quiet.
Yeah, that was hard for me.
Because I wasn't going to like talk to you about it because I didn't want to like bring you down. But then by me not saying anything, I think that brought you down.
Well, you were bringing me down because you weren't talking to me.
That's true. I kind of was being,
Here's the thing.
Quiet.
Your experience is extremely valid. You're allowed to like, you have to go through a transition too.
There's a time and place for everything. But then again, with his ADHD, he probably was like, oh, I have this thought. I need to say it right now. You gotta catch yourself when you do that, Matt, because there's a time and place for everything, and I don't think on the podcast was the best time to say it. Y'all should have had this conversation behind doors, and then when y'all ready, brought it onto the podcast and be like, hey, I know a lot of fathers out there can sympathize with this, and I know a lot of mothers are also going through the issues of this, and it is a very life-changing thing, and I don't want men to think like they shouldn't express themselves when things like this happen, like life-changing events happen. But at the same time, Matt, this was not the time or the fucking place to have this conversation. Right now is not the time, and you look kind of crazy not talking to your wife for 2 days after she gave birth to your child. Okay, not having that support system while in the hospital with all those hormones and having to go through this. I don't know. That's kind of shitty. That was kind of shitty of you. But on the other hand, I understand the ADHD situation like this could be overwhelming, and you may have felt like, I don't want to talk right now. Cool. But also, you got to catch yourself when you're doing that. You could have at least told Abby, hey, I'm going through something right now, and it's not you, it's just me being overwhelmed during this instance of like all of this going on. Like, just if I'm quiet, just know it's not you. It's just I'm trying to decipher my feelings. Like, that communication. I don't think he has that enough, and I feel bad because his diagnosis was so late that he couldn't have known why he's feeling that way. Hopefully in the long run, their relationship gets closer, especially with his new diagnosis, especially with their couples therapy. Hopefully he does get a little bit better with his communication. I feel like his communication is completely off. Hopefully he gets to know more of the signs. And I'm going to just warn you, Matt, if you are seeing this, I'm a very small creator, so you're probably not seeing this. If you happen to get to this video, I would say be very, very, very careful with those medications, because once you get on, one, I'm not a doctor, but I do have some people who did take like Addies and stuff like that. I hope you're saying Addies online. Anyways, I do know a couple of people who do take Addies and stuff like that for their ADHD. It's very hard to come off of, and it's very life-changing. So I would say when you get on, the doctor should tell you take a low dosage and like work your way up. And when you get off, if you happen to get off, you have to take like lower dosages, and it takes a while to get off. You cannot go cold turkey because you have symptoms of a fucking drug addict, basically. I'm gonna say that right now, Matt. I'm gonna say that right now. It kind of sucks, so be careful with those medications if you happen to take those medications. And also, a lot of people don't feel good taking those medications because it could be like, with the way people describe it to me is like, on when you have ADHD, your thoughts are everywhere, and when you take those medications, it kind of dims you down in a way where you seem like kind of robotic. So I'm just going to warn you right now, if you want to take a medication, go ahead, but I would say be very careful and wary about those medications that the doctor give you. And I also hope that Matt and Abby work on communication and just trying to understand each other a little bit more. It seems as if like they were so young getting married, they were so young going on to this social media, they were so young having kids, and it seems like back to back to back that their life is constantly changing and they just can't get a grip. So it's very hard to do that publicly, let alone privately. And publicly is even harder because then people are saying, oh, well, Matt didn't do this for you, and Matt didn't do that, and Abby should be this. And it's like, shut up. You don't even know what the hell is going on behind closed doors. So, therefore, shut up. And then the last thing I want to mention is where family channels go wrong. Because I can already see it going into a dark path. I can already see it. Hopefully it doesn't. But where family channels go wrong, or like where couples podcasts go wrong, is that you have to post so frequently to get the money that you want, that even when you're angry, you have to kind of put that aside and be like, hey, we got to fake it for the camera. Like, you know, it's a job at the end of the day. It's kind of like talking to a coworker that you don't like, but you got to get something out of it. So you have to talk to them, you know, like, so that's where family channels go wrong, with like overly faking it consistently. Like, if you need to fake it, just put the fucking camera down, bro. And then on the opposite side of things, family channels are like podcast family things. Y'all know what I'm talking about. they are overly real. So what I see in Matt and Abby's channel, which I respect, is that they are answering and asking questions that not many other podcasts are covering, and not many other couples are willing to answer on camera. And I feel like that's one good thing, because Matt is expressing his feelings and other men could probably like relate to him. But there's always a war between Matt. You shouldn't, as a man, you shouldn't express your feelings. But it's like he's probably doing that so others could like not feel isolated. And Abby is expressing her feelings as well, and is seen as, oh, her feelings are the only feelings that matter because she's a woman, which is not the case. I think that Matt is actually giving men almost like a safe place to express how they're feeling in marriage, in a relationship. So I feel like that's a good thing, but it's a bad thing when they overly share, but the conversation didn't happen behind closed doors. Where family channels go wrong is overexposure and the people in the comments just being people, just assuming, just doing this and doing that, and you can't really argue back, because once you argue back, you're in a lose-lose situation. So that kind of fucking sucks. You want to express some things to the public, but there's a way to go about it. You don't want to overexpose yourself right then and there. That's why I'm saying, like, there's some conversations you have to have behind closed doors before you bring it on to the podcast, on social media, or anything like that. Come to a common ground, and then when you're ready to express it. Yeah, that's all I want to say. Sometimes Matt could be an asshole. Sometimes I understand, because I know people with ADHD, and I know how that could feel. It could feel kind of isolating, and it could feel kind of overstimulating at the same time. And people who don't know, who are like neurotypical, just want to know. So as I said before, I hope Matt and Abby could get better at communication. I feel like that's their main problem, but other than that, I really don't see a problem. I feel like they have a good relationship. Like, to be able to get deep into the questions like that on a podcast really tells me that they have a tight-knit relationship. But it's just the communication. Like, if you're going to be having those deep talks, you have to 100% have tight communication style. Like, it can't just be boom topic and then another topic, and then it has to be a deep conversation. Like, there's layers to the questions they be asking sometimes, and sometimes it can be taken out of context because they're not getting into the deeper questions. They'll just be like, hey, how does it feel down there? Oh, bad? Okay, cool. Like, what? No, you have more questions that either lead up to that or come after that. Like, just, I think they need to tighten up on that conversation and those communication styles.